So what happens, I see people hanging out with losers. Those losers make that person lose. Sadly,
Mhm.
I'm no exception. I can tell you right now, when I want to amplify my income, I hang out with people making more income. Well, Pace, is it always about money? Yes, because money is the measurement of value. And if you are providing value to the marketplace, you will be rewarded with money.
Alrighty, folks. This is something I have been looking forward to for a couple of years. We tried to get Pace Morby last year, but scheduling didn't work out because I did not ask early enough. 100% on me. But now we got him locked in. He is coming to Las Vegas February 15th. He is our day two keynote speaker in Vegas. Pace, thank you again for saying yes and making it a priority that Valentine's weekend.
Yeah, I look forward to it. My wife will be there with me. We also will be almost at the tail end of a 122 city tour.
Yeah.
And we'll probably have 1,000 people come and join you guys just because this tour will be marketed every single day. And I'll have a caravan of people following us. But Vegas will freaking show up in a really big way because of this. So looking forward to it.
Well, I know we've got a little bit shorter time than we originally planned because you're being a dad. You got some sick children at home. We don't need to get into that, but let's talk about Pace. For the few people that don't know Pace Morby, why don't you kind of give your 60-90 second bio? Who is Pace?
Pace is a dude that loves doing deals and helping people. And I started my journey as a contractor for years up until I was 30 years old. I had a lady that came to me as a great mentor. Her name is Bethany. So this is about 12, 13 years ago in 2013. Um, and she told me that I was a loser and that I thought I was really cool. I was making $1 million a year as a contractor, working for Open Door, OfferPad, and Zillow. And she's like, "Oh, you think $1 million is cool? Like you're not as cool as you think you are." And she called me a slave. She told me that I was easily replaced by a Google search because I was a contractor, did not actually own my business. And she smacked me around like a good kind of mother figure would. And then she taught me how to get into real estate by bird dogging or finding deals for her. And so I started learning how to send out direct mail, and I got really, really good at being in people's living rooms. And I became one of the top closers for Homevestors. If you guys know who Homevestors is, the We Buy Ugly Houses company, the caveman. Out of 1,100 franchisees, I was the third top closer in the nation for a number of years, I think over 5 plus 6 years. I was on the stage every quarter and all that kind of stuff. So really loved wholesaling, and I integrated creative finance into everything I did. I loved the creative process of solving problems that other people couldn't solve. And then in 2018, I was still running my construction company and simultaneously running my real estate investing company. And I had one of my largest customers in my construction company file bankruptcy, and he owed me $1.3 million. And I think it was the universe or God that told me, "Hey, bro, why are you so stupid? Why do you keep betting on other people? Go bet on yourself." And it was crazy. I was making $1 million a year as a contractor and $1 million a year as a real estate investor. And I just couldn't get past the mental thing of shutting one down and doubling down on the other because it was like, well, I'm going to lose $1 million over here. And so the universe decided, I'm going to force you to lose $1.3 million, you freaking knucklehead. So
Mhm.
you'll go double down over here. And so in 2018, I lost basically everything. I had to start back over. I sold my real estate portfolio to cover the bills in my construction company. And from that point, 2018, used 99% creative finance to build a portfolio of close to $500 million. Not once have I used my credit to acquire those properties. Not once have I used a bank. Not once have I used my own money to acquire those properties. And along the way, I decided that my number one drug of choice is the helper's high. And
Mhm.
I just love to help other people. In fact, my wife and I, for date night a couple days ago, just helped a homeless person move into her very first creative finance house that I didn't help her. I didn't do the work for her, but I gave her the framework and I showed her where to get the resources. And this lady, Maddie, went out and did a sub 2 deal and is now house hacking this house. And so that's what I do on a daily basis. And just want to help people. And my next big thing is I just inked a deal to build 5,000 car washes nationwide over the next 10 years. We already have our first 15 under construction. A handful of them are already cash flowing. One of them cash flows $430,000 a year. When I say cash flow, I don't mean income. I mean net in my pocket when I say cash flow. And we're going to go build 5,000 of those with a bunch of partners all over the country, which is awesome.
Yeah, so let's dig into that helper's high because again, one of the things that I've known you since 2018, and watching you, from the very beginning, right before Pace was Pace. Right now, you're here. I remember you back in the day, just grinding. And the helper's high is something that maybe you didn't call it back then, but that is clearly who you were, right? That was your drug of choice. I love that analogy. But let's talk about Maddie, because again, I
Yeah.
think it's important for folks. I love the fact that you documented the story. You found a lady who had the hunger, had the mission. She was homeless, living in a shelter, and first and foremost, you never did it for her, but you showed her the work, and you held her accountable, and you documented. And I love the story that she kept bringing you deals, and you're like, nope, 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 nope. Got the first one, 5 grand, as I recall. But also, this whole notion of a buy box was really cool to me because, again, I remember her telling you one time, "Well, I found this apartment. What about this? What about that?" And you're like, "No, Maddie, you got to go find this thing." And it's really fun to watch people do the work. Sometimes it's that simple. Sometimes.
Yeah, here, I'll show you guys the email if I can share my email with you guys.
I'll
So
share.
when email or Maddie emailed me
Hmm. Go ahead.
back, let's see, she emailed me April 8th of this year. So let me show this to you guys. So here it is. I did not find her, she found me.
Hmm.
And so I didn't find somebody with motivation. I didn't find somebody with some special personality. I didn't know anything. I honestly did not know she was a woman. I
Mm.
thought it was a guy this whole time.
Oh, Maddie, that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, I thought like maybe Maddy would have been a female name, but this was like
Mm.
Maddie, like, you
Yeah.
call your buddy Matt. Hey, Maddie, what's up? What up?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And so this was her email. She wrote me 5:41 a.m. and she says, I'm in a shelter. And she says right here, I currently live in a shelter near Mesa, which is actually what got my attention.
Mm.
And the reason why that got my attention, I mean, if I opened up my email, you'd see 50 people a week asking me for a handout, right? Like,
Of
I'm a
course.
wounded vet. You don't understand how hard my life is. I'm an immigrant, all the BS, right?
Hmm.
And they might not be wrong in their own perception, but um, at the time I was on a mission to find kind of like the impossible person because everybody
Hmm.
keeps coming up with excuses.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm going to find an impossible person, somebody that like you would argue it's impossible for that person to ever make money in real estate. No
Yep.
license, no experience, no money. She hasn't had money in her bank account in 4.5+ years. She's been on the street since she was 55. She's now 59. I didn't know anything about her. I replied back and I said, Hey, Maddie, are you on drugs? Because I can't put myself in a situation as a father of four and a husband. I can't put myself in an environment where drugs are around and there's addiction. Like I just can't be in that environment. And I was fully expecting her to say yes. She replied back and she said, I'm not on drugs anymore. And I go, okay, cool. Let's go spend a day together. I'm going to California to go look at buying a modular home company on creative finance. If you want to come spend the day with me, let's spend the day together. So she did. She came with me. I bought her a ticket. She spent the whole day with me. I interviewed her for 17 hours while we were together.
Mm.
And I got to know this lady. And basically, what I got out of that is that she wasn't on drugs. That's all I got out of it. So I go, okay, let's meet up again. And I met up with her a couple of weeks later because, as you can imagine, my life is planned, predetermined pretty heavily. I know exactly where I'm going, what I'm doing every single day for the next 6 to 9 months. And
Yep.
I said, I really don't have a window, but I do have something canceled. Why don't we fit you in? Come to my office. I'll whiteboard a game plan for you. And I said, I want you to go bird dog a deal. And she didn't know what bird dogging was, of course, but I said, basically, it's where you find a deal for a buyer locally. That buyer's too busy flipping or too busy doing what they're doing. They don't have time to go and find those deals. She's like, well, I don't know how to find deals and negotiate. I go, I don't know. This is the great part. Go and find wholesalers in my free Facebook group and ask them for inventory. Take that inventory and copy and paste it to your buyer. And she sent out 47 pieces of inventory before her buyer said yes. She gets a deal. She makes $5,000. This was 20 days. It took her 20 days from a cot in a homeless shelter.
Mm.
These homeless shelters only give you like 20 to 90 days, depending on the shelter and what their federal grant allows. So she bounced around from shelter to shelter. She slept on park benches, probably 15 of the 90 days that we worked together. And when I say when we worked together for 90 days, I literally saw her 10 days, maybe like an hour here and an hour there, did none of the work for her. When we spent time together, I would just answer questions for her and film it for the audience.
Sure.
And it was really interesting when she got her first deal, she was like, wow, I'm actually kind of disappointed. I'm like, why? She goes, because I thought it was going to take 250 tries. That's what you told me. You told me it was going to take 250 tries. I go, yeah, but I gave you a good expectation. She was like disappointed that she got her first deal in 47 tries, which I love,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Meanwhile,
Yeah,
you
to
got
set
people that are like, I
expectations.
tried,
Took
Michael, I
three
tried, I
days.
did the
Yeah.
thing. It's like, shut the heck up, you know? This lady like gave me a whole new perception about life of like literally there is physically no reason why somebody can't go do a deal. If this lady with a broken, her Nokia is a broken phone, you push the button and it replies like 10 seconds later. Like the response time is so bad. She actually got a yes on her 30th deal and her 39th deal, but by the time she received the yes from the buyer and then went back to the wholesaler and said, "Okay, my buyer wants that deal," the buyer had already sold it 4 days prior
Oh,
because her phone was so laggy. Like that's
yeah.
what this lady's dealing with. And she did not get, never heard her say a negative thing, never heard her blame anybody, never heard her say, blame her situation. She was so hungry that the day she got her deal, she's like, all right, no more of this single family crap. I'm ready to own an apartment building. I'm like, chill out, Maddie. Like you're freaking calm down, you know? Um, and just to like give you guys a perception of this, let me kind of show you this. So let me see if I can pull it up really fast. So I'm in Phoenix with her. We go get her check. She doesn't have a car, so she's like, "Hey, will you pick me up?" The title company is asking me to come pick up the check. Beautiful thing about real estate is you don't have to beg people to pay you.
Yeah.
And she goes and picks up the check. We go to the bank. The bank thinks that she's scamming them, so she has to come out in the parking lot where I'm parked. And she goes, "Will you come in here and talk to the bank? They won't let me deposit this check." And I'm like, man, is it because you're
What?
black? Like, what the freak? These freaking
Yep.
pieces of crap.
Right.
And the reality is, they had a really good argument. The argument was this lady has had a negative bank account for nearly 5 years, never
Right.
made a deposit in 5 years. They basically abandoned the account. Now she's coming with a $5,000 check, right? And she comes in wearing the same clothes she's been wearing for 30 days. So she has a little bit of a scent to her. She doesn't stink, but you can just
Yeah.
tell she's not living a normal life, right? You can just tell. And she comes in, she's overly positive and she's not blaming them. Like that was the cool thing too. Like I see people that are in way better situations in life would have yelled at that banker, would have yelled at the bank. She was so sweet to him. That's how she just rolls this way. It's freaking awesome. So I go into the bank. I go, no, this is from the title company, and here's the title company I just picked it up from. They call the title company, verify it's a real check. Like that's what this lady's dealing with.
Yeah.
People don't believe her that she has $5,000. Like every single thing in her environment is you can't do it. Even when I picked her up from the shelter on Friday, which was just 2 days ago, because now she has her own house, the shelter's like, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, Maddie. I'm like, no, bitch. She has a house.
Yeah.
The reason why they don't believe her is because she goes, I found a house, I own a house. And you can imagine a shelter, you can imagine people that work at shelters hear every lie, like every manipulation you could imagine. And so they just put that all on Maddie, even though Maddie was doing the work and she got a house. Like the shelter people did not believe her. Like, oh, yeah, sure, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Meanwhile, she has a deed with her name on it that she just bought, and they still don't believe her, right? Okay. So we go to the bank, we clear up the issue, and this is the next thing that I have to go do is show Maddie. I have to drop Maddie off at the shelter. And here's why. She gets a $5,000 check and she was so excited. She goes, I'm going to go and get a hotel. For the first time, I'm going to have my own bed in like 5 years. This is going to be amazing. I'm going to get a hotel for a couple of weeks till I get my next deal. Like she's already planning on her next deal, right?
Nice. Nice.
Again, another thing I see commonly with people is they get their first deal and they're like, man, I haven't done a deal in a year. And it's just like, I got to get the motivation. I'm like, this lady is exactly what you would want in a real estate investor is like the second you get the first contract, you start working on the second one and you keep that pipeline filled up. Meanwhile,
Yes.
people get that first $5,000 check and they go on a vacation to San Diego and then they're like, oh man, I got to start all over. She did not let that happen.
Nice.
So she was planning on staying in a hotel. She was excited about this 5,000 bucks. And they now don't release the money to her, right? They put a 30-day hold on her money at the
Oh,
bank
30
for
days.
obvious
Wow.
reasons. I don't blame
Yeah.
them for that. And so I have to take her back to the shelter. Instead of being disappointed, she had a positive attitude. But this is what it looks like when you drop a woman off at a shelter. Check this out. So this is her at the shelter. It's 110 degrees outside. She has to walk through all this, and they go through the thing. She drops off all her things, and then right about here is when she has to get naked and walk into one of these booths,
Oh wow.
like behind here. They make you strip down. They make you take off every piece of your clothing, all the way down to your shoes. They open up your shoes. They pull the sole off. They open up the tongue. They take all your clothes. They shake them
Wow.
out for obvious reasons, right? These people could bring a knife in, or they could bring something into the shelter and endanger other people. Guys, like this is the environment this lady's living in. And so when people are like, "Oh, it doesn't apply to me because I'm not homeless and she is homeless," I'm like, this lady has 10 times more of a challenging environment than you do. Not anybody on this call, but it's just the
Yeah.
general public. This is what she deals with when she's going in after she just got a $5,000 check. You'd think she'd be demoralized. Instead, she sends me a text. She goes, "I'm so embarrassed that you watched me have to go through that. Um, but no worries. I'm already mentally onto the next deal." And she starts working on the next deal. And the next deal was 30 days later. She buys a sub two house and she's going to house hack it, rent out 8 bedrooms, pad split it. And those 8 tenants will pay for all of her expenses. And she'll make $1,000 a month on top of all of her expenses being paid. And last night, I'm dropping her off and she's like, "Hey, I think I have my third deal and this, that, and the other." Like, she is relentless. She just needed she like had the engine, right? Her motivation, who she was. She had the engine. She just needed her engine to be applied to the proper vehicle. And she didn't have that vehicle. The vehicle she had before was like UPS driving and Uber Eats driving. And those were the vehicles that her engine was placed in. And it's kind of like having a Ferrari engine that you place in a Honda Civic. Like it's just not going to go as fast as a Ferrari, even though the engine is a Ferrari engine, right? So that's been I know took me 10 minutes to explain that, but that's been my experience with Maddie is just eye-opening to me that she just obliterates everybody's BS excuses. And when I say BS, it just stands for belief systems, right? Like people's belief systems are I have to have everything in order. I have to quit that's another thing is like, I have to quit my 9 to 5 job in order to focus on real estate. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Not this
this,
again.
yeah, it's crazy to me. And so when people have whatever their BS excuses, I'm like, here, watch this Maddie thing and tell me that you have an excuse after this, right? The shelter would not let her leave and work on her real estate business more than an hour a day. She had to apply for 20 jobs every single day. She had to go on job interviews. And she's sitting there going, "Don't you know I'm a real estate investor?" Like she had this belief system of like, stop wasting my time with these applications that are a waste of my time. And the shelters, of course, don't believe her. They shouldn't believe her because you can imagine if you guys have ever been around homelessness at all, it is nothing but bullshit. Like
Mhm.
the amount of lies, manipulations, the amount of the charisma, like all these people that are homeless, holy crap, they are charismatic like you would not even believe. They're phenomenal at con art, right? They're con artists. And so I don't blame the shelters, but that's the world she lived in is that the maximum amount of time she could work on her real estate business was 30 minutes a day.
Mm.
And she had to go through and apply to 20 new companies every day. So imagine you have to apply to these things, go to your officer every day, say, "I applied to all these things. These are the job interviews I have lined up. This is how I'm getting there. This is blah, 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 blah." Like, that's what she's doing all day long in order to keep a bed at the shelter. And if she didn't do that, the shelter kicked her out. Why? Because federal grants require those shelters to say, we can't just keep everybody in these beds. They have to be doing something, which I actually really love and appreciate about our federal dollars are at least being held accountable, right? So she only had 30 minutes a day. And in 90 days from the day I first met her, right, she wrote me an email in April, but we didn't meet really until May. And I didn't teach her her first strategy until like almost the end of May. So you look at like basically June, July, August. I don't even think it's been quite 90 days. It's either 88 to like 92 days, somewhere in there. She is now in her first home. She'll never have to worry about income ever again. She'll never have to worry about utilities or a cell phone bill or any of that kind of stuff, literally in 90 days. And so it's not a story to me about homelessness. It's a story to me about like whatever your belief system is, tell me you could watch this and tell me you can't do it. And honestly, if I could just be honest, I'm sick and tired of talking to new people.
Mm.
Like I'm so sick and tired of it because they think it's strategy that they need when the reality it's all their mindset. And it's also their bullshit family. Sorry.
Yep.
It's their bullshit church they go to. Sorry. And it's their environment with their loser friends and their people talking about football. And, again, I'm not talking to anybody on this call because you guys are here on a Sunday freaking, morning
Yeah.
hanging out with Michael Zuber. You guys are definitely in the right place. I'm not talking about you guys, but, and I'm sure you guys all feel exactly what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, I talk to other new people and it's like all their belief systems, 99.9% of it is their mindset and they're not around the right people. Right. So, what I'm doing right now is I'm writing a book called Start Here. And anytime somebody asks me, how do I get started in real estate? I'm handing this book to them and going, start here. The book will initially launch with 5 stories of 5 real people that I documented 50 hours of training on all of them. So you get all 50 hours per person. So 250 hours of like course content that's completely part of the $29 book, and all the money that goes after it pays for the book and marketing and whatnot, all the money will go to homeless shelters.
Hmm.
But person number 2, 3, 4, and 5 are just regular people. Like I start the second person, Ellie, on Monday tomorrow. She's an Uber driver. Uber drivers are going to be gone in 36 months, y'all. Like they're done, they're cooked. Or not Venmo, Waymo, and Robo Taxi, like they're cooking that entire industry. It's gone. Like I'm going to call it right now in the main metros, you probably have 60 months before Uber and Lyft are completely toast. Now, in the like smaller areas, of course, it's going to take a while for those to have adoption. So they might have 10 years, but in our like main metros, Phoenix, San Francisco, 60 months, you're cooked. You have no more like side hustle work as far as that goes. So I'm helping that lady to kind of show people in that world the pathway. The third person I'm helping is a father that has 3 jobs, 2 kids, no wife. His wife died of a heart attack a couple of years ago. So he's balancing a life and 3 jobs all simultaneously. And his bullshit excuse is, I don't have time.
Hmm.
And I'm going to be unapologetic to him and go, dude, sorry. Like your kids don't care about your excuses. Your bills don't care about your excuses. Is your life harder than mine? Yeah, it is. But you still have no excuses. So don't give me that BS. Let's change your BS. So that'll be the third person I'm helping. The fourth person I'm helping is a wounded vet, missing 2 legs and an arm. He has one arm, and it's not his predominant arm. His right arm, which he's right-handed, doesn't even have a right hand. So I'm taking a wounded vet. Again, he has income, right? These are not homeless people. They're just people that have harder situations than me. And I'm basically taking all of their stories, applying a game plan to them, writing a book about it, and then giving it to people and going, start here. The cool thing about the book, beyond all of that, is that um, every year I'm going to pick 1 or 2 people to add to the book. So anybody that buys the book will get a new chapter every single year for the next 15 years as I find a new impossible person and just help that person for 30 days and show people it's possible. And then the book will just continue to grow. And one day, my hope with that book is that I never have to answer the question ever again of how do I get started? Like it,
See,
bro, if I could literally never have to answer that question ever again, and I could talk about the stuff I want to talk about, holy crap, I'd probably free up 4 hours every day.
yeah, at least. So there's a couple
So
things I want to pull on there that I think are really important in tried and true to one rental at a time. One is, your surroundings, your network, your family. There are so many folks. Like one of my rules is, you got to fire some of your friends. And again, it kind of sounds harsh, but I want it to sound harsh. I want it to be a slap across the face, right? I don't care if you want to get rich, wealthy, real estate, get healthy, whatever it is. You're around 5 fat people, you're going to be the sixth. You're around 5 million. It's just, there's that Harvard study I know you've referenced several times, but people just don't understand that sometimes your friends are the biggest anvil holding you back. They just don't get it.
yeah, they don't believe it. They think it's just like hogwash, right? And it's one of the reasons why I hang out with you. It's one of the reasons why you and I collaborate is like iron sharpens iron.
Right.
We're constantly pushing each other, whether we know it or not, right? I'm doing things that inspire you, and you're doing things that inspire me. And that's just what good friends do for each other. But I can tell you the number one problem when people come to me, they go, oh, I'm having a hard time. I'm like, nope, you have loser friends. Like,
Exactly.
what does that have to do with how hard I'm trying? I'm like, you have loser friends and you have a loser family. Your spouse sucks. And it's brutal. I'm sorry, guys. Like I'm
Yeah.
Michael could be nicer to you than I'm going to be nice to
I'm going to
you.
stop being nice. I just let them have it. Just go.
Your spouse sucks at one thing, supporting you. And the reason why they suck is because you, not you guys, maybe, and I could be wrong about some people on here, but I hear people like tell their spouse about all the things they're going to do, and then you don't do the thing because you're not doing the thing. You're not doing the thing because you're hanging out with five people that are not doing the thing. So you go home and your wife, who you told you were going to do the thing, sees you not doing the thing and she loses trust. And then it becomes this horrible environment that you're a part of.
Yep.
Right. The number one thing women hate more than anything else, also simultaneously, is the number one most attractive thing to a woman. They hate when a man says, I'm going to do something and doesn't do it. And at the same time, I could be the ugliest mother trucker on planet Earth. But as long as I do what I say I'm going to do, every freaking female is like, that's the kind of guy I want to be around. Right.
Yeah.
So what happens? I see people hanging out with losers. Those losers make that person lose. Sadly,
Mm-hmm.
I'm no exception. I can tell you right now, when I want to amplify my income, I hang out with people making more income. Well, Pace, is it always about money? Yes, because money is the measurement of value. And if you are providing value to the marketplace, you will be rewarded with money. Okay. That is why money is important, because money symbolizes the value you provided to the marketplace. If you are not providing marketplace value, you get no money in your bank account. Sorry. So, Pace, aren't people more important than money? No. Your mom loves you, your dad loves you, your friends, I'm sure, love you, but you're not valuable unless you have money. Well, why? Pace? Is it all about? Yes, because you don't get money without providing value. Well, why am I not providing value? Well, because I'm hanging out with losers that are telling me, well, why try? I'll give you a good example for me specifically. I'm at age 30. I'm a contractor. Bethany comes into my life. She tells me, hey, this is how you're going to bird dog for me. I all excitedly go and tell my friend Ben, right? And at the time, Ben was kind of cool. He had a job at Apple. Oh,
Aha.
ooh. At the time, I thought that my belief system was that if you have a job at Apple, you're kind
You're
of
killing
doing
it.
good, man,
Yeah.
making $150,000 a year. You got a managerial status. I thought that was cool. So I respected his opinion. Okay. Again, your environment determines everything. At the time, my mindset was a job at Apple was cool. Now there, you could not pay me $1 billion to work at Apple, and I'm not exaggerating because I get to live the life I want. I do not want to report to anybody else. I just don't. I'd be allergic to it. I'd burst in flames. But Ben says to me when I told him my goals, he's like, "Oh, you want to get into wholesaling and fixing and flipping? That's that business where you guys steal equity from old ladies."
Mm.
And I didn't know any better, so I didn't have a defense to him. Now, if
Yeah.
somebody says that to me, I'm like, oh, I've done thousands of deals. There's not one person that I've ever done a deal with that did not thank me and
Right.
still text me to this day. Happy Thanksgiving. Hey, Pace, I see you on Instagram. In fact, my logo came from a seller that was like, bro, this is the greatest thing that anybody's ever done for me. And he drew a logo for me. This is actually by his hand. And that symbolizes that my friend Ben was just an idiot with no
Mm.
experience. Yet, what did I do? I let that completely alter my brain system, my brain. So Bethany calls me. She goes, "Hey, haven't heard from you in a week." I'm like, well, I was just talking to my, she goes, let me cut you off right there. If you're talking to your loser friends, let me guess, they have a good job and they have a good this, that, and the other. And you really want to anchor your belief into those losers. I'm like, losers? They're not losers. He has a job at Apple. It wasn't until now, like I'd say 36 months later, that I realized, oh my gosh, Bethany, you were so freaking right. So she says to me, she goes, you have it, and this is what I needed in my life because nobody had ever talked to me this way. She says to me on the phone, this is the last time we're going to communicate if you are not going to move forward. If you decide to move forward, here's what I want you to do. You've made a decision to either A, to move forward with me and find deals for me, or B, and by the way, you know how much she made me pay her before she would teach me? $135,000 is what I paid this woman.
Wow.
Right. And people nowadays bitch and moan about $200 a month, right? Whatever it is, $300. Like, shut the hell. I want to have nothing to do with people that are not committed to themselves to the point where they're willing to pay a filter fee. It's the difference between like Costco and Walmart. Like, I don't want to hang out with Walmart people. I go to Walmart. I also go to Walmart wearing my Crocs and not wearing underwear. I do that all the time. I just don't want to hang out with other people
Mm.
that are in that world, right?
Mm.
I don't want to hang out myself when I'm at Walmart. But when I go to Costco, the experience is better. The customer support, the quality of the goods are better. And guess what? The difference is a $99 a year membership, right? So she says to me, you're either moving forward with me Or I want you to make a different decision. That decision is to hang up the phone right now and block me from your phone because I will never communicate with you again. I will become allergic to you, is what she says to me. I'm like, wow, what a bitch. And you know what? I needed that. I
Oh yeah.
needed that so freaking much in my life. I needed it. I needed somebody to shake me loose. And now I am a product of my environment. Every time I have an up leveling, it's because I up level the people I hang out with. And more importantly, I up level the people that my wife gets to hang out with. Like, for
Yeah.
example, guess who my wife's best friend was? Ben's wife. What kind of bullshit conversations do you think we
Oh
had every single time we were hanging out and going to dinner and having empanadas? It definitely
yeah.
wasn't talking about changing the world. Now, my one of my best friends is Dean Graziosi. Who is my wife's best friend? Lisa Graziosi.
There you go.
My wife now gets to go do life-altering things and going to charity galas and go and raise money for the this and go do the such and such. My wife was waiting for my leadership and for me to abandon those relationships. And your friends suck. If they're not doing what you want to do in life, they flat out suck. Get them out of your life. You have one freaking life. Oh my gosh. Here I am Sunday morning. Hopefully you can feel the urgency in my own life. I will not waste a minute of my life doing something I don't want to do anymore because now, especially when you have kids, holy crap. If you
Yeah.
have kids and you don't understand how fast your mortality is leaking, go on a trip for 3 days, come back home and tell me your kids did not grow up. You can physically see in 3 days that
Yeah.
those kids have changed, like physically changed. Question is, did you?
Yeah.
Did you come home after a 3 day trip or a 3 day seminar? Like obviously, Michael Zuber is having an event on February. I'll be there on the 15th. You guys go to that event, you're going to be changed as long as you take action. And when you go back home to your kids, will your kids go, Dad, you've changed. There's something different about you. You're more positive. You're speaking differently. You're talking about visions. You're talking about changing the world. Dad, you're different. So that's me. I've just become addicted to that thing. And I am so grateful for my mentors along the way. I've learned a lot from Michael Zuber. He's been a mentor of mine in a lot of ways, still is. He's the guy, like, I didn't even know Michael in 2018. I didn't know Michael other than like reputation. And I go to Fresno, California, and he's like, use my office, do my thing, let's hang out, let's collaborate. I'm like, this is a guy. This is all about growth and a guy about collaboration. I'm like, I want to be in this guy's freaking world because at that point, I'd been 6 years removed from the Ben world, right? Guess where
Yeah.
Ben still works?
Apple. Yeah.
Apple.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with those people. That's just not where I choose to spend my time.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's talk about this Vegas event. You're going to be keynoting. You'll be there on Sunday, the 15th. I'd love to hear that Laura's coming. I actually reached out to her. She wasn't sure she'd make it. If she does, and that gets confirmed, I'll make sure she's squeezed in for a half hour because I love her story, her energy. She was a part of the channel for well over a couple of years. So I love talking to Laura. She's great value. But, folks, this is the kind of guy, this is why I keep warning the ORaaT fans to buy your tickets early, right? Because the space that we have is capped. I can't grow it. There's no mystery wall that I can knock down to create a more space. Pace probably has 400, 500, 600 people in Vegas that once he kind of says he's speaking, they will be there. So buy your tickets early. I think we've sold 75 already. They will sell out. This video will probably be posted Wednesday or Thursday. I expect sub 2 to start showing out. So ORaaT fans, buy your tickets early. Pace, I know we got, let's say 10 more minutes because I want you to go be a dad and take care of your kids this fine Sunday. Why don't we kind of wrap it up with what do you see in the real estate industry, kind of over the next 12, 18, 24 months?
okay, so I think anybody that says that the market's going to crash, I think is up in the night. I think that Trump is a freaking genius. Whether you hate him or you love him, it doesn't matter. This guy is playing a game that nobody can even understand. He's 15 steps ahead, right? And if you look at, there's an economist with the last name George. I can't remember his first name, but he's one of the most famous economists that like Albert Einstein quoted and other people back in the day quoted. He's kind of been forgotten. But what he talked about was there are these prolific creatures that come into our world that every once in a while are so good at the master of deception. They're over here working on these things, but what they do is they create chaos over here so they could work in peace on the actual game plan. So you look at like, we're going to take over Greenland or the Gulf of America. You look at all these 50 things this lunatic is doing. And if you only look at him at face value, you don't really realize what he's doing. Even look at the jobs report. Who's to say that he didn't figure out how to manipulate the jobs report to make it come down way lower than it really was? Fire the lady that was doing the stats, and what does he do? He puts tremendous pressure on the Fed, massive pressure to the point where literally 3 weeks ago they're like, we're not changing rates. We have no plan to change rates. Don't bother us. And now they're going to drop rates. It's like a 95% chance they're going to
Yep.
drop rates in September.
Yep.
Trump says, I can't get you out till May. I'm going to freaking create May Day. I'm going to create freaking mayhem. I'm not waiting for May. I'm creating mayhem. And so I think that that's what's going on. I think Trump is not as presidential as I'd love him to be, but I think he plays a completely different game than anybody can even anticipate. And so rates are going to come down. I think probably half a point, maybe even like 3/4 of a point in September. I think we're going to come into the 5%. And then I think in December, I think we're going to have another rate before the end of the year, a rate drop. I think there's a possibility that interest rates before the end of 2025 are going to start with a four. And if that's the
Four.
case, what do
Oh,
you think
man.
is going to happen?
Well, I can tell you this. I've said all year, if we have a 5.99, the people on the sidelines are going to come screaming off. I've never even thought of a four. That
Yeah,
would
I
be
look
wild.
what Warren Buffett just did this morning or the
Yeah,
last couple of days.
Lennar and D.R. Horton.
He
He's
dropped
moving big money.
$800 million in cash into Lennar.
Yep,
He
exactly.
just bought a ton of Lennar stock, right? Basically, guys, this is we play on such a small level. Like all
Yeah.
of us are basically gnats on a freaking rat's ball sack. Like we are worthless. These people are playing such a large game that all we can do is ride their
Watch.
wake at the end of the
Yeah.
day, right?
Yeah.
They're going and creating chaos. So I think what's going to happen is our market is going to go crazy. Do I love that? No, I don't. And the reason being is because in the creative finance world, I dominate right now because
Oh,
nobody
you're
else can
crushing
buy,
it.
and I'm
Yeah.
crushing, right? I'll buy 30 more car washes before the end of the year, three or four more RV parks. Like it's so easy for me right now. It's like taking candy from a baby in the creative finance world. However, what's good about my world is that I have properties I bought 7, 8, 9 years ago with creative finance that I now want to refinance and pull cash out, or I want to sell in
Exactly.
1031 into some larger assets. This will create a massive 1031 exchange world where now people are buying, and it's going to compress cap rates. It's going to do a whole bunch of stuff. So I think we're heading into another surge of property prices over the next 36 months. I think property prices are going to go up another probably 12 to 20%. And I think that Lennar and some of these other people, regulations are going to be pulled back. They're going to add supply to the market, which is great. But if interest rates stay low, then we're going to be cranking and cranking and cranking, which is great. It brings agents back to life. It brings loan processors back to life,
Yes.
loan officers, lumber suppliers, electricians, plumbers. Everybody's back to work, which is freaking awesome. So I'm excited about it. I think it's great, and there's no shortage of where you can make money. Right? I'll give you a handful depending on who you are. Number one, if you're like I'm just starting out, I'm afraid of my own shadow. Well, okay, if that's your personality type, then go jump on somebody else's team, find deals for them and get a finder's fee or even a portion of equity. I call that the wedge method. You wedge into somebody else's deal. Somebody just brought me an RV park in my sub two community, brought me an RV park in Big Spring, Texas. I wedged them in 20% of the ownership of that Big Spring, Texas park. They have no money in the deal. I bought the park. It's making about $18,000 a month. They get 20%. 20% of $18,000. That's $3,600 a month for the rest of their life, and they brought
Yeah.
no money to the table. Like, guys, you don't have to go even acquire the property. You don't have to go and manage the property if that's the thing you're scared of. What about the tenants? Guys, go wedge into somebody else's shiz. It's
Yeah.
that simple. If you are playing the game of like, one rental at a time, I think it's one of the smartest things ever is buy one, one here, two there, whatever. I did a lot of it the wrong way. The right way for me, wrong way for a lot of people. Um, I wish I didn't buy as many single families as I did. I wish I bought 25 single families and then started upgrading to larger types like RV parks, mobile home parks. If you go on today, go and surf the internet, go on creativelisting.com. You guys can buy sub two deals on single family and seller finance deals on single family right now. There's like 800 deals on there, creativelisting.com. That's a good place to go. Second place you could go, my favorite. Check this out. Watch how fast this is. I could get a RV park today under contract on seller finance. This business is truly that simple. The problem is you got to ask yourself, why am I afraid to take action, right? So let's go to Crexy.com. If I go to Crexy.com, I go to, let's say, owner finance. I'm going to search owner finance. Check it out. I could buy a hotel right now. I could buy my favorite stuff is right here. Okay. This Lucky Lady RV park. I already talked
Mm.
to Annette Scott last week. She specializes in RV parks. Look how many days this has been on the market.
Oh
321
yeah.
days on the market.
Yep.
That is an opportunity that I didn't have to pay a dollar for yet. And I can talk. I called her. Check it out. If I log in, you can see her phone number, but Um, it costs nothing to get this information. Nothing. No, you don't have to skip trace. You don't have to have fancy CRMs. So I got her phone number. I could call this lady, which I did last week, and I put it on my YouTube channel, and I showed you guys how to have a conversation with somebody who owns an RV park. What do you think is going on with RV parks right now? Most of the people that own RV parks bought them to retire and
Yep.
live there with their significant other until they got to a point where they're no longer healthy. And that's what's happening. There's a massive silver tsunami hitting the United States right now. So
Yep.
I called them up, and this agent says, yeah, they'd let you take over the park, no money down. They just want a monthly payment of $4,000 a month, and they'll let you take over the park.
Mm.
Cool. How many banks do I have to go through that? How much down payment do I have to go through that? Guys, there's
Right.
literally no excuse to be successful. There's no excuse. Now, I would ask yourself the question, Shakespeare said all the time, know thyself. I would write down today, like my homework, I would write down, what am I afraid of? And how do I go put that fear in somebody else's basket? So, like, for example, I'm afraid of managing tenants. I'm afraid of what if something happens? I'm afraid of hearing a no. I'm afraid of this kind of stuff. Okay, great. Find somebody in the ORaaT community and say, hey, you have no fear around the things that I'm fearful of. How can we collaborate with each other? That's how community is built, right? And let's go do a deal together. I will bring you a deal that you are looking for, and let's partner and you go handle the things I'm deathly afraid of. So I don't have to keep sitting here in analysis paralysis. Analysis paralysis is I'm fearful of the unknown.
Right.
Cool. Find the person in this community that has the thing that you are fearful of already mastered, right? I was never afraid of anything. Well, I shouldn't say that. I operate entirely on fear.
Mhm.
That's the difference. I'm not motivated. I'm deathly afraid. The difference is I'm afraid of what is going to happen if I don't take action.
Right.
Other people are afraid of what happens when they do.
Mhm.
And so if I don't take action and I don't take care, guys, what is my 1 year old kid going to do in 20 years? That's the fear that I have, right? There, one of my other favorite Harvard studies that I love. I know that this is not the question you asked, but they were developing the perfect rat poison at Harvard.
Mm.
Okay, what would a rat be attracted to eating, right? So they flavored the food at the end of the maze differently over and over and over. They variations of thousands of different things. What would get the rat to smell that smell and run way faster to that food, basically making that food almost impossible to resist, right? That was the test. And so after thousands of different variations, they felt like they found the perfect thing.
Mm.
And then one of the scientists says, hey, I think we found the perfect rat poison and like something that's attractive to rats. This is awesome. And that's not the moral of the story. Like what was it based? I don't know. It's bubble gum. I don't know what it was. Not important. The scientist says, let's play a fun game. Let's take the scent of a cat and let's pump it into the maze and see what the rat does.
Yep.
So they pumped cat pheromones or scent into the maze. Guess what the rat did? The rat froze.
Mm.
Oh, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. And just stood there. Oh, I'm afraid. Right. So fear can cripple you. Understandable. I think a lot of people that are like, I'm not doing as much as I want to be doing. You guys are like a rat in a maze that the fear is causing you to be paralyzed. Then what they did, which was super interesting, and this is where I think my life has been powerful, and I think Michael as well has figured this out incredibly well, is that they then put the scent of the cat behind the rat.
Exactly.
And they found that the rat ran 4 times faster in the maze than any food ever could have made that rat run. And they're, oh my
Amen.
gosh, this is freaking so interesting. And so it kind of highlighted human nature where it's like if the fear is in front of you, I'm afraid of what could happen, right? If I move forward, you're going to have a problem. But if you have a thing saying, I'm afraid of what happens if I don't move forward, it's going to push you forward and propel you forward. And so for me, I choose to focus on the fears of what if I don't take action? What does
Mhm.
that world look like? My son, my daughters, what is their world? Oh, Pace, you have more money than you can imagine. Do I?
Mhm.
What about inflation? What about job loss? What is the economy going to look like? Have I built a deep enough, wide enough moat around my castle? I don't know. I truly don't know. I know a lot of friends of mine that retired are now coming back into the game because they're like, oh, inflation's eating up a bunch of my stuff. And I thought I was good, but I'm not good anymore. Right. Those are the things that cause me to run forward. So what I would do is look at any fear that you guys might have. I do have fear. I just choose to put it behind me. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of calling. I'm afraid of negotiating. I'm not good at underwriting. I'm afraid of tenant management. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of blah, 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 blah. What if I buy my property and the market goes down? Go and put your eggs in somebody else's basket in this community and collaborate with each other and spread your fear to other people who have already overcome that. And then think what happens in 2 years if I don't take any action, if that makes sense. So, um, Travis Craig, good to see you. He says, if you're looking for creative deals, I can help you find them. Let's talk.
There you go.
Awesome.
Well, well, folks, again, we're going to let Pace go. He's going to go be a dad, take care of some sick little ones. Again, he is going to help us sell tickets in Vegas, no doubt. If you're a part of the ORaaT family, you've been saying you're going to buy tickets, buy them soon because once he pushes it out to community, probably one post on Instagram will sell this thing out. If we get lucky enough to have Laura with us as well, she will also be speaking. I will make sure that she gets some time on there because she deserves some of the sun. And then, of course, I love the fact that we are everyday wealth builders inside our school community. And Pace, I appreciate you, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Take care of the little ones. All right.
Yeah, let me just say one thing about ticket purchasing.
Sure.
I plan my life like a year in advance. I know where I'm going, what I'm doing, why I'm going there, who I'm doing it with, why that person should be there, what meetings I should have in order to accomplish those goals. I have a 5 year Mount Everest goal. Like, this is my Mount Everest. I'm trying to accomplish this massive thing. And along the way, here's what I do know. I know I need to be around other people. And here's why. I can't climb my Mount Everest by myself. I have to have Sherpas. I have to have guides. I have to have an outfitter that gives me the gear I need. And in how that pertains to the real estate world is like, here's an interesting thing. So I go to an event the other day. And most of the time I go to events, I'm not most of the time. It's been probably 10 years. I went to an event as an attendee. I now go to speak, but I go in my mind as an attendee. And here's why. So I strike this deal on this car wash. How did I get this car wash opportunity? At an event a couple of years ago, at an event. Then we strike this deal. I fly out. I'm in Dallas at an event. I go and visit some of these properties and I go, all right, now I have this problem like scaling financially. You know what? I'll figure it out. I don't know how I'll figure it out, but I'll figure it out. And guess what? Last week I'm in DC. I'm speaking at DC. These are tickets that are like $2,000 tickets. And I go to this event, I'm in the green room, and I'm telling this person this problem I have about these car washes. And this guy goes, oh, yeah, I got $75 million in cash. I could solve that problem for you. I could do X, Y, and Z PDQ. And we were on the phone this morning for an hour and a half. He's like, all right, let's write it. Let's get some docs together for Monday. Let's get going, and I'll fund all your construction. I'm like, this is why you go to events because the
Agreed.
other people, think about this. If you have a room full of 400 people, most people look at, well, I'm here to learn from the people on the stage. No, the people on the stage are the manipulation tactic to get you in the room so you guys can collaborate with each other. But if I tell you, hey, you're going there to network with people, oh, that sounds like work. Bro, are you kidding me? Think about 400 people have been living their entire life working for you. And this is what I mean by that. They've acquired relationships you haven't had, skills you haven't had, resources you don't currently have, and they all have them in their little backpack. And all you have to do is go to these events and go, hey, I need this thing. Who has this resource? All 400 people have been working their guts out their entire life to bring that thing to you. Guys, you go to the events and you plan them on your calendar 6 months, a year in advance. I usually pick 4 to 6 a year that I go to literally all I'm doing is going, who has the thing that I need
Mm,
in what I'm currently, struggling with? Buy the ticket.
yeah.
Don't be a freaking knucklehead. You know how many times people, when I go sell my event, um, will go, hey, all the tickets are sold out. How do I get a ticket? I'm like, jump in a time machine.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yep.
I'm just like Michael. If I tell you what the limit is, I'm not playing games with you. I'm not going to
Nope.
open up a new section because we sold more tickets. The tickets are the tickets. You are either in the room or you're not in the room. Are you going to filter yourself in or are you going to filter yourself out?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the price of the tickets are, but I can tell you the price is probably already not as
Oh,
expensive as it should be. For
yep.
me, I'm trying to get my ticket prices higher. I don't reduce prices. I don't give discounts because
Agreed.
I don't want people in my rooms that want discounts.
Yep. Yeah. No, my tickets so my tickets are cheap. $2.99 general admission, $6.99 VIP. Again, no
It's a
discounting, no
bargain,
sales. Yeah, two
a
days. I feed
bargain.
them. I feed them. 6 hours of networking. I'm doing 2 lunches and a dinner, right? I understand that it is about the audience. We are entirely in sync. Again, folks, I expect, I don't know, Pace's community will buy the tickets out if we don't. So, ORaaT folks, step up, buy your tickets early. Pace, go be a dad. You're amazing,
All
man.
right. Hey guys, thank you. I'm sorry I was yelling, but I'm not really yelling at you. I think I'm yelling at an earlier version of myself. And I think if I talk really loud,
No,
he can
you're,
hear me.
I
You
love
know what I'm
that.
saying? So, guys, enjoy your Sunday. Live with absolute passion. You have one life to live, like absolutely one life
Amen.
to live. Provide value to everybody that's around you, and take an audit around the people of the people who
Yes.
are around you. Michael, thank you for letting me be here. ORaaT community, it's awesome to come and visit with you guys. Thank you guys so much. Have an awesome day.
Later.